Okay. Hello and welcome to episode 7 on getting started with Houdini, and in this video we will talk about how to create a Houdini digital asset, HDA, how to create controls so we can modify our geometry in the HDA interface, and how to make it work inside of Unreal Engine 4. As you can see, I can just go out there and tweak our staircase, and it will adjust accordingly to, well, whatever it is that we input. I can make a number of steps 8, and as you might have already seen, we have some different colors. It's a vertex color that gets propagated in the materials of our setup, so we can blur or disable the blur of triplanar projections. So we have different stains on our staircase. If I make it like 6, you will see that it gets blurred. So there is that, and let's get started and see how we can do something like that without a lot of a problem. Okay, so we start with geometry as per usual. We go into geometry and we drop a line, because copying onto line is pretty much very, it's very easy. And as the stairs, actual stairs of our staircase, we will use a box. Now, the box doesn't look like stairs all that much right now, so we can tweak the size a little bit. 0.1 will do. And here 0.2 maybe. Okay. As we have learned previously, just copy the points, and the geometry will be our box, and wherever we are copying will be our line. Now that I think about it, actually we will use curve. My bad. So to create a curve, I will hold down spacebar and press 3 to enter the front, and I'll just make a couple of clicks, press enter, and we have the curve. And this will be our geometry that we will actually copy onto. Okay, this is going well. So we can resample our curve. You know that already, right? Because we spoke about it in previous videos, so that's nothing new, okay? And to make the actual staircase to be like just one piece of geometry instead of, there's a lot of copies of boxes, we will Boolean Union it. Press the Boolean Union, and as you can see, it kind of deletes the unnecessary information, and we have our geometry. Oops. Okay. So, what's next? As you can see, I have dropped the normal with a cos angle of 60. That's not important right now. I will do the polybevel. Drop it. Whoops. Drop it before the normal, and I will make divisions like 3, and distance a little bit. Okay. Exclude the flat edges because we don't need them. What else? I think we have to detect collisions. So, and stop all the loops at once, because if it will, like, the new polybevel node in Houdini 18, it can be like act like a safeguard for you when you are starting to divide your geometry with polybevel, so the edges do not slide through your geometry. Okay, I will increase the divisions like 5, and let's see how that looks. Now, so far so good, right? We have the curve that can control our stairs. We can resample the curves So kind of like control the amount of steps. Next up, we will make it HDA out of this setup. All right, so how do we make these, just geometry into the Houdini digital asset? So first of all, I'll select everything that we have, all the nodes, and then we'll create subnet from selected. Okay, something collapses, and we'll just rename it into stairs. And if we go inside, you can see that we have indeed, what we previously had, and just it now is in the subnetwork. So I will now right click and say create digital asset. And we will call it, our stairs. That's creative. Okay, next up, as you can see, there is some new window appeared, and it doesn't make a lot of sense. So what is this? So essentially, we are currently editing our digital asset interface. So as you can see, our interface currently has nothing. So what we're going to do, I think we will start with just dragging and dropping the size of the box. Then we will drag and drop, I think, the sample node to control. Whoa. Oh, okay. I'll redo this. Something accidentally, I somehow dropped a little bit more than I wanted. Anyway, size, resample, segments. Okay, so label segments. We actually will not name it number of stairs. Size will be length. Wait, stair size. Okay, anyway, before we proceed, I will just click apply, and we go back. And as we can see, our stairs now has stair size and segments. And if we tweak this, you can see that we have indeed geometry creating on the fly. So let's build our HDA a little bit more. Boolean, all good. Polybevel, I think the divisions of polybevel 5, I don't know, maybe divisions. Okay, let's call it bevel divisions. Click apply. Normal should be good, maybe 30. Apply, accept. And when I go and right click, save node type, it will remember all of the additions we have made to our HDA. So I'll go back to our Unreal Engine 4, and here I can right click, click import to game, and I'll go to documents, Houdini, OTLs, and as you can remember, it's called our stairs.hdalc. Now, important thing, you have to have at least Houdini in the edition. As you can see, like it says here in the edition, it says in the yellow in the edition. Otherwise, it will just not allow you to work with HDAs within our, other applications like Unreal Engine, 3ds Max, Maya, Cinema, something else. So to make the HDAs work, you have to have license, at least Indie. Okay, so that out of the way, we have our stairs named our stairs, and if I drag and drop, voila, we have stairs. Now they don't look like much, but we already have the divisions of bevels that we can control, stair size that we can like make it a little bit more fat, like this, segments, more, less. As you can see, everything is controllable and it rebuilds real time. Editor time in Unreal Engine 4, which is, useful. So, how do we improve this situation of ours? Now, next up, I will show you a very interesting option of controlling the curve. Now, if you remember, we can't just go out there and control our curve to control actual stairs. But here, there is nothing that we can do. So how do we fix that? Again, I go right click and type properties and node. And as you can see, editable nodes. I go inside our geometry and I say curve. Click apply accept. And hopefully I made it all right. And I say save node type. And let's see what we got. So if we re-import and rebuild our instances, we can see that we now can edit the curve itself. And we can make our staircase pretty much adjustable to our needs, which is, in my perspective, really impressive. Final thing, you might already have seen that we had the vertex colors, and I am going to control the material blend using the vertex colors. Now, this is not the time and place we will talk about the material system of Unreal Engine 4, okay? Because we will talk about materials of Unreal Engine in different workshop and a series of videos. It will be super elaborate. Just for now, I want you to understand a couple of things. First, I'm using the triplanar projections for everything because I'm super lazy, and it's the worst triplanar projections in history, possibly because it doesn't even utilize anything except for vertex color, which is red. So essentially what happens is we have this, give me a second, we have this material, it's pretty much the same thing, but it's a stained concrete, and we lerp, linear interpolate, or mask, if you're not like aware of what's happening in Unreal Engine 4 material system. It's basically like mask. So we control this, the lighter version of this concrete is getting overlaid by the darker version of this concrete, more like dirty one, controlled by the vertex color. In our case, it's red. But we do not have any vertex colors as of yet. So let's fix that. I will actually start with divide node. Why? Because I want to make a little bit more geometry. So we have our attribute blur behave a little bit better. Now, before I continue anything, I would say that this is not what you would actually consider a proper, the proper like game ready way of modeling things, because it's not. But this is, I'm doing this just for example purposes, just to show you that we can indeed compute vertex attributes, in our case, just vertex color. We're not talking about attributes, we're talking just about vertex colors. Then we will blur them and we'll make it as a blending in Unreal Engine 4 materials. Okay, if it doesn't make a lot of sense, let's just go with it. Okay, so I click Bricker Polygons and I decrease the size. So we have more, well, polygon bricks. Okay, that's a lot of polygons. So this is why I'm talking like this is not exactly the best way of creating game-ready geometry, but it will totally work. So, like I said, example purposes, please don't throw stones at me. Okay, so what we're going to do next is we're going to measure the curvature, because I want the stains to be in the places where bevel is happening. All right, so we're gonna do this measure curvature. Let's see. Okay, red seems to be fine in our case. And as a final thing, I think we can bake visualize ranged into output. What is it? it's 0.5. I think 0.5 will do, but I usually never use just the measure, or if I just middle click and hold and I see like we have the primitive attribute, which is called curvature. Actually, we can make it into point attribute, as you can see. Next, I drop color, and I will make the color. These will actually colorize our vertices, okay? So previously, let's say we had no color. So let's make 0. And after that, we drop another color, and it will be color that is red. It's just RGB 100, so it's totally red. But it's RAM from an attribute, and the attribute is called, as you might already guessed, it's called curvature. Let's see. Okay. This is where the blurring will happen. Okay. So actually, I want to make it a little bit more obvious. So the color in our case will not be just 100, it will be 200. So like, you know, it's a vector information, so I can actually multiply it more to make it more obvious. So there we go. Let's see. Next thing, I will attribute blur. Attribute blur. Okay. Attribute blur. Attribute should be CD as for our color, and as you can see, it indeed blurs the attribute. So this is where our stains will show up. Actually, I think blurring iterations can be like, I don't know, 5, but what we should, no, actually 2. What we should control, you know what? 1 works. Okay, what we should control is the step size. All right, so as you might already guess, we right click, go to our type properties, and go to our parameters, attribute blur, step size, we drag and drop and call it blur amount. Apply accept. Save no type. Okay, and now if I re-import, where is it? Our geometry, here it is. If I re-import everything, like re-import and then rebuild, it might actually change the color. Yep, there you go. Okay, so this doesn't look like very impressive. It's just, it's looking strange, right? So this is happening because we have materials. Actually, we have no materials, okay? Now, we go back to our super lazy version of triplanar that we talked about previously. And as you can see, where the red appears, right, the darker version of our concrete will appear. So I'll just save it because, you know, what if? Drag and drop, and there you go. There you go. For some reason, the curve did not appear. I don't know, maybe it's just a little bit of bug that happens in Unreal Engine 4. You know, from what I have heard, people at SideFX are working on the version 2.0 of the digital asset, so hopefully it will be, you know, performing a little bit better. So anyway, we have our stairs that we can totally tweak, and if we drop, let me see, if we drop our triplanar, again, it will work. And as a final thing, if we make the blur 0, it should not blur at all, as you can see. The stains are only appearing on the bevel side of this, and if we blur like 0.6, the stairs are more gradually coming from, you know, from the bevel to the actual stairs. That's the normals facing upwards. So there you go. There you go. This is how you can control the vertex colors, propagate into the Unreal Engine materials. So, you know, you can create metal railings, you can create like different borders that will, you know, be around of your stairs, and like sky's the limit, right? The only limit is your imagination and or technical prowess of using Houdini. But since we already know how to model things inside of Houdini from the previous lessons, and now you know how to create Houdini digital assets to use them inside other applications like Unreal Engine 4 in our case, I think you can experiment a lot. You can just learn how to do things. So if Unreal Engine 4 is a bit too much for you, you could, just skip altogether this part, because it might be a bit daunting to learn yet another application on top of like Houdini. But as you can see, the systems that we can create in Houdini are very much a lot of time saver, especially like when we will get into the attributes. In our next videos, I will show you how to create digital assets that will help you create copies of your things and automatically scale and rotate them to make it look, more natural. So actually, yeah, there is that. So you could tweak this asset using like UVs and light map UVs if you want it. I don't really care about this, but because I'm looking at Unreal Engine 4 as the final pixel render using the ray trace, and I don't need the light maps for that. But you totally could do that. Hopefully this was helpful. If you have questions, don't forget to leave the comments in the comment section. If you have something else that you want to know, let me know. I'll try to maybe create a Q&A video on Houdini. And I think we are approaching the end of this workshop. The next we are a bit limited in what we can do in Houdini if we don't know attributes. Okay, so I would actually spend reasonable amount of time explaining attribute systems in Houdini, because I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, I came to Houdini to make explosions, particles, and I don't know, fire, smoke, water, everything else. But we somehow are just talking about geometry, because all of that is mostly controlled by attributes. And people out there, like other videos on Houdini from other people, are just either skimming or just skipping altogether the explanation of attributes. And I am convinced, basically it's the undeniable ground truth that you must know attributes if you want to proceed with the simulations or even like geometry generation in Houdini. So we will talk about attributes in different workshops, so don't worry, I'm not leaving you hanging there. We will continue our beautiful journey in Houdini world. And anyway, yeah, use the comments section if you want to ask questions and whatnot. I'll try to answer if possible. If not, maybe I'll just see if we can create a fast Q&A video like the addition to this one. So there you go. Have fun, learn things, play with creating HDAs. Maybe import them in whichever that you use, like Cinema or Maya, 3ds Max, Unreal Engine, or Unity. Depends on your way of working with geometry, because basically I either work in Houdini or Unreal Engine 4. I don't use Maya or whatnot. So there you go. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more, don't forget to subscribe. If you like what you see, press the like button. And again, if you have ideas, suggestions, leave them in the comments. I try to read all the comments and respond accordingly. Thanks for watching. Have a good day and see you later.